So it's time for us to summarize in a nutshell all that we have studied in this chapter. The first is, in order to locate the position of a point in a plane, we require two perpendicular lines. One of them is a horizontal and another one is a vertical. The plane is called as a Cartesian plane, and these lines are known as the coordinate axis. So in order to locate a point in a plane, we draw two perpendicular lines. One is a horizontal line and the other is vertical. And these two lines together are known as the coordinate axis, and the plane is known as the Cartesian plane. This horizontal line is called as the x-axis and the vertical line is known as the y-axis. The point of intersection of the coordinate axis is called as the origin. So the horizontal line is known as the x-axis and we call the vertical line as the y-axis. Also, the point of intersection of both these axes is called as the origin, and this is actually the reference point through which all the distances are measured. The coordinate axis divides the plane into four parts, each of which are known as the quadrants. So we see that we have a plane and x-axis and the y-axis. So these two perpendicular lines divide this plane into four parts, and each of these four parts are known as the quadrants. The distance of a point from y-axis is called as its x-coordinate or the abscissa, and similarly the distance of a point from the x-axis is called its y-coordinate or the ordinate. So the distance of any point from the y-axis is known as the x-coordinate or the abscissa, and similarly the distance of a point from the x-axis is called its y-coordinate or the ordinate. If x and y denote respectively the abscissa and ordinates of a point P, then x, y are called the coordinates of a point P. So if x denotes the abscissa of any point and y denotes the ordinate of any point, then the ordered pair x, y is known as the coordinates of point P. The x coordinate of every point on the y-axis is 0. So the coordinates of any point on the y-axis are of the form of 0, y. So if we have any point on the y-axis, then the abscissa or the x coordinate of that point is 0. So any point on the y-axis would be of the form of 0, y. The abscissa here is 0. Similarly, the y-coordinate of every point on the x-axis is 0. So the coordinates of any point on x-axis are of the form of x, 0. So if we have any point on the x-axis, then the y-coordinate or the ordinate of such a point would always be 0. Therefore, any point on the x-axis could be written of the form of x, 0. The coordinates of origin are 0, 0. Origin is the point of intersection of x-axis and the y-axis, and the coordinates of origin are 0, 0. If x is not equal to y, then x, y is not equal to y, x, and x, y is equal to y, x if x is equal to y. So if x is not equal to y, then x, y would not be equal to y, x. That is, we cannot interchange the abscissa and the ordinate. But if x is equal to y, then in that case we can write x, y equal to y, x. That is, we can interchange the abscissa and the ordinate in this case. Now this is a very important table. It tells us the position of points in the different quadrants. So if any point lies in the first quadrant, then the abscissa of such a point would be positive and the ordinate of such a point would also be positive. So x coordinate and y coordinate both are positive. If the point lies in the second quadrant, then the abscissa would be negative and the ordinate would be positive. So x coordinate is negative and the y coordinate is positive. If the point lies in the third quadrant, then the x coordinate would be negative and the y coordinate would also be negative. And if the point lies in the fourth quadrant, then the x coordinate would be positive and the y coordinate would be negative. So simply the sign of the coordinates help us to decide in which quadrant does the point lie. So with this we come to the end of our lecture on coordinate geometry. I really hope that you have enjoyed studying coordinate geometry, and I am pretty sure that you have understood the basics of coordinate geometry. Now, these basics are really going to help you out when you study coordinate geometry in depth in your higher classes. And if you face any difficulty to understand the concepts in coordinate geometry, you can contact us. We would be pleased to solve your queries. Thank you.